Please call the medic, this beat came to me on a stretcher. In the lab, I step to the mic and feel like I'm Dexter. I'm a man, dark world, but I'm still shining like treasure. Yeah, I got joy like ha ha ha. Wait, and I can't wear smiles, that's fake. Then I'm between love and strong. Hate clock says no time for mistakes. Ring the alarm, sirens go off, but I'm calm. My life resides in his palm. Submit to my pops, respect for my mom. Honor them both, so my life will be long. Third time, get the charm of the third strike. Had to.
What's going on, drivers? I'm chilling up here in Oak Grove, Kentucky. I figured I'd make a little video for y'all here. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you a thing, and I sure appreciate it. Helps the channel out. Well, in this video, we're going to cover the equipment, the pay, home time, passenger and pet policy, local work, insurance, retirement, physical and drug tests, dispatch and orientation process here at Poly Trucking. All right, I get emails every now and then. I haven't had a lot, but I've had a few here and there, and they'll ask questions about this stuff. So I figured I would put something together and put it out. That way, y'all would have your answers collectively, right? But as y'all know, I do not represent Poly Trucking or Poly America in any kind of way, shape, manner, form, or fashion. I just simply work here, okay? So, but I'm just going to answer these questions from my perspective, from what I know of the system here, and hopefully it helps you if this is what you're looking at. Another thing, as I always tell you in all my videos that I've ever made about any company, please do your own research. Don't just go off what I say. Please do your own research. Look at the reviews. Talk to other Poly drivers if you're interested in Poly or whatever company you're looking at. Don't just go on what a YouTuber tells you. Actually get out there and put in the effort and do some research on it, and take a little bit of what everybody tells you and try to make the best decision you can for you and your family. Ultimately, it's you and your family that are going to survive on wherever you choose to go if you're changing companies. All right? So always keep that in mind. Now, as for myself, and then this is kind of a bonus here, because this question's not in the list, but this is a bonus. As for myself, all right, I've been driving 13 years. I started out at Stevens Transport, went in the oil field, ran frac sand, came back out on the road. I worked for Waller Trucking and H&M Trucking. I worked for a few different companies around. I worked for Creek Carriers, Tri-High Transportation. A couple of them that aren't around anymore. But out of my 13 years out here, going on 14 years, I like Poly. I like the freedom here. They don't micromanage. I really like that. That's something I really enjoy. They're all company trucks, but they run them like owner operators, and I really like that. We pick our own loads, our own outbound loads out of the plant. I enjoy that. And honestly, the most money I've made driving a truck out of everywhere I've ever worked, including the oil field, is here at Poly. This is the highest paying trucking job I've had. Not saying there are not other companies that pay more. There probably are. I'm sure there are. But as my experience in trucking, the most money and the best insurance I've ever had is right here at Poly Trucking. And that's why I've chose Poly Trucking. I went home when my mom passed away, or right before she passed away, until she passed away for a little while. And then when I came back out on the road, that's why I made the decision to come right back here to Poly. But anyway, we're going to get into this. Let's go ahead and jump off into this. As far as equipment goes, Poly runs Peterbilt 579s and International LTs, both trucks with Cummins engines in them. They are governed at 68 miles per hour on the foot and on the cruise control. Inside setup, the new trucks, the brand new trucks, have refrigerators in them. The brand new Peterbilts do. The older trucks, which if you come here, when you start here, they do not have refrigerators built into them. You can put your own. They have a 1500 watt inverter. The Internationals have EPUs, I believe they're called. And then the Peterbilts have APUs on them. They are all automatics. There are a few of the loaner trucks, like if your truck breaks down, they'll put you in a loaner truck. There are a few of the loaner trucks that are manuals, but for the most part, they're all automatics. And that's pretty much the equipment. I mean, I've driven both. I'm in a Peterbilt 579 now, which is pretty nice. The only thing I don't like about this Peterbilt 579, this one does not have a fridge in it, and there's not enough room for me to put my refrigerator in it. That's the only thing I really don't like. I mean, I could probably put one of them little ice chest or cooler deals you get at the truck stop in the passenger seat, but that's probably about it. These 579s, they're set up nice and they're comfortable. They ride good going down the road. They got a much better seat than the Internationals do, but they don't have a lot of room in them for setups. Now, the new Peterbilts, from what I understand, the brand new ones, I haven't been in them, but from what the other drivers have told me, they've got a lot more room in them. And they are actually able to do a lot more inside those trucks and set them up, make them more driver friendly. As you know, we save a lot of money out here eating on the truck rather than in a truck stop, so it's really important. Now, the Internationals, the International LTs, there's plenty of room to put a refrigerator in them, microwave, whatever you want to put in there. There is enough room in the Peterbilt, even in this one, for a microwave. It's got a spot up on the driver's side where there's a strap and everything, and a plug for a microwave. And all of the trucks here have TV mounts in them if you want to put a TV in, and plugs for your TV. So that's pretty much the equipment. Now we'll get into pay. Poly pays 70 cents per mile, and they pay on the odometer. I know on the website it still says hub miles, and they used to pay hub miles. The odometer is something they recently went to. And they recently went to that so they could pay us weekly instead of us having to turn our paperwork in to get paid. Because the way it used to work is we used to have to turn our paperwork in and then we got paid on the next Friday or whatever, right? But now they're able to pull the odometer electronically. They can pull it while we're out on the road. So at midnight on Saturday night, they pull the odometer, and all the miles we ran from Sunday through Saturday, we get paid for on Friday. And then all of our extra pay, because we get paid for every stop as well. Every stop that we make other than a poly yard is $30. So our stop pay, any reimbursements for scales or anything if we bought windshield wipers or anything like that we write down on our trip sheets, we get that back when we turn our paperwork in. But we get our mileage pay every single week. So we get paid every single week. There's no waiting on pay. And that's at 70 cents per mile for every mile you drive. So people ask sometimes, like, well, what if you have to go around an accident? Do they pay for that? Yes. If they close a road and you have to go around it? Yes. Whatever you drive, you're going to get paid. Now, there is an exception. If you're driving wild and just taking the longest possible route, you're running way out of route on purpose. They know how far apart these places are. And someone's probably going to call you. No one's ever called me or questioned me. I even went around one time up on I-70. I-70 was going to be closed. It was last winter up on Vail. And I ran the southern route down through New Mexico and up to take a load up to Denver. And I got paid all those miles. Nobody bothered me with it. But if you do that, you're supposed to call or text your driver supervisor and let him know, hey, I'm going to be quite a bit out of route. I think it's 10%. If you're more than 10% out of route, they want to know. And they want to know why. You just tell them why, and you'll get paid those miles. When I get off to go get fuel, if I'm getting out off the interstate and going off to a fuel stop that mile or two, going to do that, I get paid those miles. It's one of the things that I really enjoy about Poly is I get paid for what I actually drive. Not post office to post office. I'm not running any miles for free. Here, we don't do any driving for free. We get paid for what we drive. And that I really enjoy. Like I said, we get $30 for stop pay. If we're 24 hours early on a Poly delivery, like let's say you take a load from Dallas, from Grand Prairie, and let's say it's going up to Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and it delivers on Monday at 7 in the morning. You arrive up in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin on Saturday at 5 a.m. Well, you're there more than 24 hours early, you'll get paid an extra $100 for layover pay. So that's really cool too. There's a lot of times that I'll run as hard as I can to get somewhere. Like even this load here, I ran as hard as I could to get here to Kentucky, and I don't deliver until Monday. This is Saturday night, so I'll get a restart in, and I'll get paid for doing my restart, so I don't lose anything on it. So that's pretty sweet, and I enjoy that. Home time is the next topic. Home time here works. You're pretty much your own dispatcher since you're picking your own loads, and you tell them when you want to go home. Like when you want to go home, there's a message on the Qualcomm, like when it'll ask you, do you want a long load, short load, or you want to go home? And you'll put an X in one of those boxes, right? And then when they call you, they already know what loads to offer you, whether you're wanting something long, you're wanting something short, or you're wanting to go home, wherever home is. And you're going to tell them when you're coming back. They're not going to question you on it. You go home. Now here's the kicker to that. You can take the home time. You can take whatever home time you want to take whenever you want to take it, right? But here's the kicker. You have to average 2,000 miles per week, including your home time. Like you can go home for the next 5 days. They don't care. You can go home every other weekend. They don't care. As long as your average miles come out to 2,000 miles per week, counting your home time. So we don't have that standard 1 day off every 6 days out, all that stuff like most of these trucking companies do. It doesn't work that way here. Next is the passenger and pet policy. Put it plain and simple, there is no passenger or pet policy. They don't allow passengers and they don't allow pets. We also don't haul any hazmat or anything like that. But Poly doesn't allow you to take your wife or your kids with you. And they don't allow any dogs, cats, mice, rabbits, whatever else, birds. I've seen drivers take all kinds of things out on the road. They don't allow any of that in their trucks. So that's something to keep in mind. Other driving jobs at Poly, local jobs. Yes, there are local jobs at Poly. There's local drivers in Dallas. They get paid by the hour. There's local drivers down in Houston at Poltex. They get paid by the hour. I'm not sure about the other plants. There's a plant in Chester, North Carolina. There's a plant in Westminster, or Chester, South Carolina. There's a plant in Westminster, South Carolina. There's a plant in, Cottage Grove, Minnesota, Henderson, Nevada, and Grand Prairie, Texas, and Houston, Texas. But it's pretty much Baytown. Baytown, Texas is where it's at. Mount Bellevue, right there in that area. So those are the plants. We do not run California at all. You'll never see a Poly truck in California, in the state of California. Doesn't happen. We don't go there. All the California loads go on outside carriers. It's the one state in the country that we do not drive in. Next is insurance. Insurance is through Meridian Health. Gotta say it's pretty good insurance, and it's cheap. Poly covers quite a bit of it. For me and my daughter, I don't remember the exact price. It's like, I want to say 40 a week, 50 a week, something like that. I mean, it covers, the Poly covers quite a bit of it, and it's pretty good insurance. I've had to use it once, and didn't cost me hardly anything, so I really like the insurance. The insurance is good. Retirement, they have a 401k plan. It's 6% match. They'll match up to 6% that you put in there, and you're vested after 3 years. What vested means is your money is always your money. Whatever you put into your retirement account's always yours. But what they match isn't yours until you've been here for 3 years. Once you've been here for 3 years, whatever they put in there to match yours is yours. So let's say you put $5,000 a year into 401k. You got $15,000 after 3 years. They've matched it. That's $30,000. You see what I'm saying? So then the whole $30,000 is yours. If it's under that 3 years, then it's only what you've put in there is the only part that's yours. All right, now the physical and drug test. The physical and drug test will be done on your very first day of orientation. You'll stay at the La Quinta there in Arlington, right next to Six Flags, and then you'll get there the evening before, and then the next morning you'll go do your physical and drug test. There's really not a whole lot to it. If any of you have ever worked for U.S. Express has a harder physical than they have here. But it is similar in the fact that you got to carry some weights around. But you'll pick up this box that's got like 30 pounds worth of weight in it, and you'll set it on a shelf. I just want to make sure you pick it up properly. Then you'll take it off the shelf, set it back down on the ground. You'll pick up that same box and walk about 20 feet with it, turn around and walk back and set it on the ground. They had us take this like little weight that weighed like a pound, hold it above our head and turn it. I guess simulating like if you were under the trailer, maybe turning a bolt or something, which you're never going to do. But they want to know you can do it, I guess. That's pretty much that to the physical. They're going to take your blood pressure. They're going to check to make sure your joints work properly, make sure you can squat, all that kind of stuff. So they're going to make sure you're in decent health. The drug test, just a basic urinalysis, DOT, urinalysis, and a breathalyzer, just like they do at most companies. I know some companies have gone to hair test. We don't do hair test here. So it's just a regular urinalysis drug test done right there at the same place you'll do your physical at. Which will lead me into orientation. I'm going to talk about orientation next. Orientation is done by a lady named Darlene, I believe. Really nice lady, really sweet lady. Her husband worked here for 10 years. She's awesome. She's been here a couple years herself. She will give you all the information you need to know. Really good orientation trainer. She will also do your road test and all that kind of stuff. So any questions you got, definitely write them down. Ask her. If she don't have the answer, she will find the answer. She's a local driver, or was a local driver, so she knows what you're going through as a driver, and she's very much on the driver's side, which is really cool. And the final topic, the last topic, probably one of the most important topics, is dispatch. How does dispatch work? Well, as I mentioned earlier in this deal, it operates a lot like an owner-operator company, and this is where that comes in. This is where that aspect comes into play. If you're a hard runner, you can run hard. If you're a lazy driver, you can be lazy, because you're pretty much in control of it. We have two boards, and I'm trying to think of how to explain it. We have an outbound board, which is any plant load, our load out of the plant, going out to a customer. Then we have what they call a backhaul board. The backhaul board is loads picked up usually from a broker. Sometimes they're a customer that we have backhauls with. Like Costco, we'll do dropping hooks there and haul a trailer back. But you'll get on the backhaul board to get a load back to a plant or into the area of a plant. That way you can get another plant load going back out, because we haul our own product. Husky trash bags, Kirkland trash bags, that's all our product. That's what we haul. All right, going out to Sam's, Costco, and independent people. So that's how the boards work. And you can call in or do it on the Qualcomm, but there's a message that you send for whichever board you're going to put yourself on. Now, here's the trick. And this is the thing that it took me a little while to figure out. Because at first I was setting a lot, and I couldn't understand, why am I setting so much? Well, the reason I was setting so much is I wasn't getting on the board fast enough. Let's say you pick up a load in Grand Prairie going to Miami, which is a run we run regularly, all right, going down there to Florida. Let's say you pick up that load. Let's say you pick it up on Monday, and let's say it delivers Thursday morning. I don't know what the exact miles is right off the top of my head, but let's just say it delivers Thursday morning. When you pick up that load in Grand Prairie, go ahead and put yourself on the backhaul board down in Florida. Go ahead and send that message and put yourself available for, let's say it delivers Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. Put yourself on the board for Thursday at noon. Now here's the other kicker. They don't watch your hours. So you got to watch your hours. Don't put yourself on the board if you don't have the hours to run a load. If you don't have the hours to run a load, go ahead and do a restart. And you don't have to ask nobody about doing a restart. You just don't put yourself on the board. Or you put yourself on the board further out. You add 34 hours to that. That way you can get a restart in before you get your backhaul. All right. Same thing goes if you're going back to a poly yard. Let's say you get down to Florida, you deliver. They give you a load going back up to, let's say it's going to Minnesota. All right. You get up to, you deliver somewhere around Oak Grove, Minnesota. They tell you once you deliver to roll over to the poly yard in Oak Grove. So once you get delivered, you're going to roll over there. You know you deliver, let's say you deliver on a Tuesday. When you pick up that load down there, you look at your hours, you say, okay, when I get up there to Minnesota, I'm going to have enough hours to run another load. Right then, go ahead and put yourself on the outbound board for Oak Grove, Minnesota. Because all of the poly plants dispatch out 2 to 3 days ahead of time. So the loads that are going out on Friday, they're going to dispatch out on Tuesday or Wednesday. You know, so if you wait till Friday to put yourself on the board, you're not going to get a load till Monday. You see what I'm saying? So to cause you to sit a lot. And that's something that I think a lot of new drivers, they're used to these other companies just automatically dispatching them. And when they come here, they have to relearn that new system. And that's the way that works. Now, once you figure it out, it's awesome. I wouldn't want it any other way. I love it. It's one of the reasons I enjoy working here is that system right there. But you just have to learn how to work it. You got to remember the poly plants, they dispatch out 2 or 3 days ahead of time. And put yourself on the board as soon as you know when you're going to be empty and you have the hours to run that load. If it's an outbound load going out to a customer, it's going to be on the backhaul board. If it's a backhaul load going back near a plant, then it's going to be on the outbound board. And that's basically the way that works. Some people prefer to call. Now, I never call them. I just put it on the Qualcomm. I'll send a message 7 for a backhaul, and I think it's a 12 or 13. I think it's a 12 for an outbound load. And I've never had an issue getting my loads. They keep up with that Qualcomm. It's faster. I don't have to wait on them to answer the phone or leave messages and wait on them to call me back. And they have a lot of phone calls. They're calling drivers and stuff like that. Now, also the way outbound works is like I told you earlier in this video. You can pick your own freight on the outbound side. So here's the way that works. Let's say you're in Grand Prairie and you're on the outbound board. They'll call you and they're going to say, all right, driver, we got a 3-stop load going to Indianapolis. I got a 1-stop load going to Seattle, Washington. I got a 2-stop load going to Searcy, New York. And I got a 1-stop load going to Miami, Florida. They're just going to keep telling you what they got. And then they're going to ask you, which one do you want? They're not going to tell you how many miles each one is or none of that, because we get paid by what we actually drive. They're just going to tell you, hey, I got this many stops going here. You know, so you kind of got to run the numbers in your head. You know, how many hours you have, what you can make and what you can't make. Because they're not checking your hours. Remember, this is a big boy company. They don't babysit you. They don't micromanage you. They don't hold your hand. So in your head, while they're talking to you, you're running the hours and the miles to see which one's going to be the most beneficial for you for that week or at that moment. And you'll tell them. You'll be like, okay, I'll take that 1-stopper going to Seattle. All right. And then they're going to give you the load number. You'll write the load number down. Then you'll go to the dispatch. You'll call dispatch. See when the load's ready. When the load's ready, you'll go over there, give them that number. They'll print out your paperwork. You go grab your trailer, do your pre-trip or all that kind of good stuff and hit the road. That's the way it works. They do not hold your hand here. Now, they require a year. They don't train, and they require a year. In my personal opinion, they should require at least 3, because you really got to know what you're doing when you come here. Otherwise, you'll get all jacked up. Because they don't hold your hand, they don't babysit you, they don't micromanage you. If you have a question, they'll answer your question. You know, you can get with your driver supervisor, or you can text somebody. You'll have everybody's phone numbers, and you can text them or call them, whatever, and they'll answer your question for sure. But they're not going to micromanage you at all. It's up to you 100% to take care of your own. Anyway, I hope this answers most of y'all's questions out there that have emailed me and asked questions about poly trucking. If you have any more questions or something else, or maybe you need me to elaborate on something a little more, feel free to email me at americantruckersunited@gmail.com, and I will answer whatever question I can answer for you. Also, you can always call recruiting, and I'll put their number down in the description. You can get a hold of Rachel Perez, I believe is her name. Rachel. I think Perez is her last name. But Rachel's really sweet, really good. She's been here a really long time, and whatever question you have, she can answer. I assure you, she knows it. If you need to know anything, how many trucks are out there, she can probably tell you. Rachel's on point. She knows her stuff. And I encourage you to call her first and foremost for any question you have, because she's going to be able to answer it a whole lot better than I can. But anyway, I hope this answers some of y'all's questions. I appreciate y'all coming by, listening. I appreciate all of y'all that support the channel, supported me a long time. It means a lot to me. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Y'all take care, stay safe, and keep trucking.
Please call the medic, this beat came to me on a stretcher. In the lab, I step to the mic and feel like I'm Dexter. I'm a man, dark world, but I'm still shining like treasure. Yeah, I got joy like ha ha ha. Wait, and I can't wear smiles, that's fake. Then I'm between love and strong. Hate clock says no time for mistakes. Ring the alarm, sirens go off, but I'm calm. My life resides in his palm. Submit to my pops, respect for my mom. Honor them both, so my life will be long. Third time, is the charm of the